Coma Sports Talk worldwide with some news from the world of boxing, so y'all know what time it is. You ain't in a rush to get concussed. Now, anybody coming here know what time it is? Well, most of the time when I'm talking about Negro League boxers, Negro League fighters, right? You know what I'm saying? I can name them. Let's go from heavyweight, Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz. We ain't gonna tell you why. You're supposed to know that by now. Deontay Wilder. You're supposed to know why. We ain't gonna get into it right now. Michael Hunter. That's the heavyweights. Light heavyweight and cruiserweight, we ain't got to even mention them too much because there's enough boxers that are not of color that are handling their business. But let's go down to middleweight. Demetrius Andrade, he's the chairman, sitting next to Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz, right? All right. Jermall Charlo and his little brother Jermall, for different reasons. We know what time it is. I don't have to get into it. Look at some other videos. Go down to that lightweight or welterweight division. There's a lot of good brothers in the welterweight division, but one is a Negro League fighter, and that's Terrence Crawford. Not getting his just due, period. Go down to lightweight. That'll be Devin Haney. Boy, that would be Devin Haney. He's also going to be sitting next to Demetrius Andrade, Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz, the second chairman up in there. And at the bantamweight down there would be Guillermo Rigondeaux. Now, when I say those names, I always mention the fact that it's going to be two coming in very soon, and that would be Shakur Stevenson and David Morrell in that super middleweight division. So, speaking of David Morrell, boom, you got your membership. You got your membership. David Morrell in the super middleweight division has 5 wins, 4 by way of knockout. And he's the WBA regular champion, and ain't nobody trying to fight him. I told you Canelo might leave the division or something, but they ain't going to fight this guy, and I knew it. When you watch him, you'll see why. He's just special. And when you see a special guy and he's black, he's going to be a Negro League fighter soon. Meaning, he's not going to be able to get fights. People are going to be ignoring him. The media will also start ignoring him and not telling you how great he is, not telling you of the people who won't fight him. That's what I mean by Negro League fighters. Basically, it's just like the Negro League baseball. They were awesome, but they couldn't play with the others, right? This is the same thing. They're awesome, but they can't play with the others, right? Louis the Real King Kong Ortiz can't get a fight, can he? Right? People still call him old. Been calling him old for 7 to 8 years. Can't none of the champions fight him. None of the top 15 fight him. None of them. Right? We don't have to get into everybody. Demetrius Andrade, though, at least had an undisputed fight with Canelo Alvarez. They start talking about other stuff. Kovalev and other stuff. Undisputed fight for middleweight. Now we're worried about his middleweight fight against Caleb Plant and Billy Joe Saunders and Callum Smith and stuff. And they just gave him the WBC. Right? Stuff like that. Right? But they ain't going to fight him. Devin Haney can't get his mandatory to fight him. And if you can't get your mandatory to fight you, and you can't get an undisputed fight, then those are signs that you're a Negro League fighter. So David Morrell, welcome to the club, buddy. Because David Morrell right now, with only 5 fights, his mandatory is John Ryder. John Ryder is the guy who we just thought beat Callum Smith not too long ago. John Ryder is also the guy that was on deck, ready to fight Canelo Alvarez if Billy Joe Saunders doesn't fight him. If he pulls out. He was there, so he's got some confidence. But you know what? His promoter, Eddie Hearn, is like, shoot, David Morrell is a hard fight. I know the mandatory is a hard fight, but you know something? We're going to move up and wait and fight Dimitry Bivol. Now, Dimitry Bivol is a light heavyweight who is undefeated. But they would rather fight him than 5-0 David Morrell, right? David 5-0. Already would rather fight him. So there you go. There's another mandatory that won't fight. Bottom line is this. Mandatories that won't fight needs to be put down in the rankings, way down in the rankings for one. Second thing that has to happen is people have to talk about it. That means the media, all those media that don't want to say stuff, the WBNs, the Ring magazines and all of that of the world, right, the boxing scenes and all of them, need to be saying, hey, listen, you know something? David Morrell is all that. Because his mandatory won't fight him. Devin Haney is all that because his mandatory won't fight him. You know what I'm saying? Demetrius Andrade is all that, and he's going to put him in pound for pound because Canelo, we talking about him in the super middleweight, that's not a glamour division. The middleweight is a glamour division. He could have been, got $40 million to fight Demetrius Andrade for undisputed. We didn't mention that because we was trying to help him out. Those things have to be there. We couldn't have to find this out on the internet from some dude who got 4 subscribers. But that's where it's at. It won't be in mainstream media, which means ignore mainstream media. That's what that means. So, David Morrell, this is what we're going through right now. So, put him in there. We'll see what happens. But you needed to have that information, right? Now, another little thing, right? Another Negro League fighter that I just mentioned is Terrence Crawford, right? You see the eeriness, the spookiness going around Terrence Crawford right now? First of all, Manny Pacquiao got beat by Ugas. Yes. Manny Pacquiao was trying to get $40 million to fight Terrence Crawford. He didn't want $40 million to fight Spence. His trainer was relieved to fight Spence. He's been avoiding Terrence Crawford for 6 or 7 years. Everybody in his team did not want him to fight him. The pundits, the Stephen A. Smiths and the Terry Lee Atlas, thought he's going to get knocked out if he fights Terrence Crawford. And again, he wanted $40 million to fight Terrence Crawford. That's why that fight didn't happen. That means little bitty old Terrence Crawford got Pacquiao running from him. Right? So let's just admit it. Over the years, Freddie Roach would tell you again, that was Pacquiao's trainer. Everybody would tell you, Bob Arum, who they were both, Terrence Crawford and Pacquiao were at top rank. The fight was easy to make. Now, they're across the streets, which is imaginary. People keep talking about across the streets. If you want to fight somebody, it's going to happen, no matter what side of the street you're on. But whatever. That was the excuse that was being made. The fight didn't happen. Everybody's relieved he was going to fight Errol Spence. Now he lost to Ugas, right? Now, here's the deal. Ugas is the champ now, right? Right? Errol Spence is out with a torn retina, which means we don't know if he's coming back at all. But if he come back, he shouldn't get right into a hard fight like he did. Let's give him some real love for fighting Danny Garcia after that car accident. That was heroic, in my opinion. Go ahead, Errol Spence, bro. That's Van Helsing to me. That boy ain't nervous about nothing. But bottom line is this, about even Errol. He should not come back after torn retina messing around with, the very, very best. Find out if it's okay. But in that time, why is everybody still talking about, hey, Ugas needs to fight Spence. Pacquiao needs to fight Spence. Right? No one is saying, Pacquiao, well, you couldn't beat Ugas, go mess with Terrence Crawford. Ain't nobody trying to do that either. Right? Ain't nobody trying to say, Ugas, you the champ right now. Spence is out. Why don't you go get on Terrence Crawford? No one's saying that. Why is that? Negro League. That means you're awesome and we ain't going to try to talk about it. That's why. That's what all that is. Let's stop talking about Spence. Spence is out for a while. Why? And Spence has 2 belts. When he gets back, we need to focus on making sure when Spence gets back healthy that he only has one guy to fight for those 2 belts. That's not really hard to ask, too much to ask. Stop talking about Spence right now. Let the man heal. And then in the meantime, force somebody to fight Terrence Crawford. But we don't all want to do that. And I'm going to tell you why this is. Because Terrence Crawford is the only guy in boxing right now that can legitimately become a 3-division undisputed champion. Right? We know that it's possible. He should have already been. Right? Because he should have took it while he was down at 135, but he rolled to 140. At 147, I think he could beat Ugas, and I think he could beat Spence too. It's going to not be easy, but I think he can do that. And I think he could beat the winner, or at least have a good fight against the winner of Castano and your boy Jermall Charlo. That's not far-fetched for Terrence Crawford, and we know it. That's why we continue to talk about other stuff. Hey man, this is extreme greatness right there. Right here in your face right now, and he's 33. Let's hurry up and stop trying to put these obstacles in his way. The man is awesome. We've seen somebody right now, a first ballot Hall of Famer, who could do something really incredible. Let's stop getting that in his damn way with all this other stuff. Ugas, Crawford. Boom. We got one guy. Spence, when you get back, we got one guy ready for you. Now you got Crawford trying to fight Porter. What does that mean for him? Did anything? Other than when he beats Porter, well, Porter lost 3 times already. That's what's going to be said. He don't got time for that. Crawford, Ugas now, right? Because just in case when Spence, is still out, then they could probably rematch and have another one or something until Spence gets back. And then, boom, one fight for undisputed, and the winner can move on. Because Spence got to move up in weight, too, if he wants to be compared to Crawford. Because Crawford, this is his 3rd weight division. This is still Spence's 1st. But anyway, I don't want to get into that. Back to David Morrell. Y'all keep your eye on him, right? When a boxer is a champion and they mandatory don't want to fight him, a la David Haney, David Morrell, right? Then he's a Negro League fighter. It's really that simple, y'all. Doma Sports Talk Worldwide. And I'm about here, y'all.